What's up, guys? Glock Guy 226 here, and tonight I got out a few of my Spydercos and wanted to do a brief comparison slash review on them. These are some of my favorite folding knives that I do own. These days, guys, you can get a lot of really quality knives for honestly under even the $50 marker, let alone the $100 price range. So, if you're just getting into EDC blades, or you have been a knife guy for a while, you know what I'm talking about. But to the normal everyday guy, it's hard to even go spend $100 on a knife. Like I said, there's a lot of quality knives out there you can get for $30 to $50 that are going to serve you very well. But there's just always been something about Spydercos that I really love. I can't afford to go buy a new Spyderco all the time. I got to keep up with my gun habits as well, which, as you guys know, that's also very expensive. So I try to balance it out. I have these three Spydercos as well as quite a few other folders that I kind of rotate, as well as collect. So let's go ahead and go over these knives. I'm going to start with the cheaper of the three, and not by any means, I mean, it's definitely lesser quality than these two as far as the steel goes and stuff, guys, but for the price of this knife, you're not going to beat it. This is the Spyderco Tenacious, and it is made in China. If you can focus right there on the blade. It is CR13 MOV steel, and it's not a bad steel, guys. I've had this knife for about 6 months. I've only had to sharpen it one time, and it does get a little bit of wear and tear, as you can see. I mainly carry it at work. I do keep it in my EDC rotations. It still is a very good knife for the $40 price range. I actually paid $37.99 at a Walmart for this knife, so I'm very happy with it. G10 grips. This is a liner lock, as you can see right here. That's what releases your blade. It's nice because it's a bigger liner lock than some of the other knives that I have. They kind of put this cutout here for extremely easy access to it, but it doesn't quite protrude the grip here. So as you can see, you get a little bit of teeth sticking out there, but it's nothing that's uncomfortable. Ambidextrous pocket clip, as well as completely reversible and ambidextrous on this side as well. So that's a really cool feature. The blade is a very good thickness. It's not too thick, but it's not too thin. And it stays pretty thick all the way up to that point. Now this is a drop point blade. This particular knife's more of like a leaf-shaped blade. I really like it so far. It has these really nice serrations up here on the blade. Really, all Spyderco knives, guys, that I've ever handled are very ergonomic. That cutout here for the liner lock also serves as a nice little cutout for your grip. So your thumb rests up here on the serrations, giving you a really, really good surface to grab this knife. This knife weighs right at 4 ounces, so it's not too bad for especially a lower end of the spectrum Spyderco. So this is an awesome knife, guys. If you're just getting into knives or just getting into Spydercos, or if you've been looking at them, go ahead and grab this knife, and it'll give you a great idea of kind of what Spyderco does as a company, and you will not be disappointed. Even if you have some of the more expensive Spydercos and you just haven't, thought about buying this knife, I would highly, highly recommend it. Very cool knife, though, and it does come in different color configurations. I think it comes with an all-black blade and black grip. There's a couple other ones out there, guys. You'll just have to look and see for yourselves, but very, very cool knife. Now, next up, we have the Paramilitary 2, which, if you know anything about Spydercos, guys, you know about this knife. This is one of the knives they're most known for. Great EDC knife, combat knife, bushcraft, camping, you name it, and this is a great all-around knife. So, one of my favorite things about this knife is the compression lock, which is located right there on the back of the handle there. Makes for extremely fast deployment with that Spidey hole, which all these other knives have as well. It's kind of Spyderco's signature. So fast deployment, and with that compression lock, you can easily put it back with one hand. So quick deployment, bam, put it back with one hand. And the more you play with these knives, guys, the better you get at it. I kind of have my camera at a weird angle right now, so it's kind of hard to maneuver around it. But you guys get the point, though. G10 grips. Now this is a S30V steel, so very, very quality steel. I've had this knife for about 3 years, and I think I've sharpened it one time, and I do use it quite a bit. I don't necessarily beat the crap out of it or even take it to work, because I work in the maintenance field. We get into a lot of rough stuff. I've broken a lot of knives, and I just don't have the money to jeopardize breaking this knife, so I kind of keep it more or less my EDC rotation and kind of a collector piece as well. Now, they do have the serrations on the back of the blade here as well, kind of, just like the Tenacious had. But they also have serrations here in the back of the frame. Pretty cool. You can grab this knife just like this, super, super ergonomic and comfortable. And then they also have front serrations there on the front of the blade, which that's a really cool feature of this knife. I usually grip it like this, whatever I'm doing. But if, say, combat roll or something, you can grab those serrations and you're not going to slip off them. They have just enough of a curve there and a point here to keep your finger from slipping. And the serrations are just deep enough where you're not going to come off of them. I mean, I've used this when my hands were wet, never bloody, of course, but I've used them when they were wet, and, I have never had an issue. Now, this knife also has a completely ambidextrous pocket clip, as well as reversible and ambidextrous, so however you like to carry. Now, I carry tip down. These knives come tip up. A lot of guys carry their knives tip up in the pocket. I like to carry tip down. I carry my front left pocket. That may be why. So when I draw this knife, I usually draw it with my left hand it over the right hand, and deploy, or I just completely reach crossbody over with my right hand, grab it, and I deploy. So that's why I like to carry it tip down, but everybody has their preferences. Now, these knives of Spyderco's, like I said, they do have the line of knives that come from China, and I assure you, with their quality assurance, guys, they do not let a crappy knife come out the door. So even if it is made in China, you're still getting a very awesome knife for the money. But Spyderco is in Golden, Colorado there, as you can see, and they put USA Earth on the blade because they say their knives are out of this world, which they pretty much are. Now, this knife can be had for anywhere from $110 to $130. You can even get higher if you go into certain, they call it a sprint run. Say they'll make 400 of these knives with a bright blue handle, and a different color blade. And, those are like collector's items, and they can go for $400 or $500 easily. But you can get this baseline model, which you can get it this configuration, or the Digi Camo black blade, black handle, satin blade, or all black, can be had for around $110 to $130. So be on the lookout for that, guys. And this knife, like I said, is kind of iconic to Spyderco. So very, very awesome knife. This knife actually is the lightest knife, as well as the biggest knife out of these three knives here. It weighs exactly 3.75 ounces, which is kind of cool because it's the biggest knife, but yet the lightest. Like I said, I can't get over how awesome this knife is, and it's kind of hard to justify how awesome it is. So there's a lot of really good reviews out there on this knife. I mean, hour-long reviews. So please go check those out too on YouTube. Just type in Spyderco Paramilitary 2, and you can see some really cool stuff about this knife. Now, next up, this is the most recent Spyderco I've got, as well as probably my favorite right now. This is the Spyderco YoJimbo 2, and like I said, I just got this about 3 days ago now. It is made of an S30V steel. Let's see right there. So the same steel as the Paramilitary 2, very, very quality stuff. Also made in Golden, Colorado, USA Earth. Now this knife, guys, is pretty much designed to be a combat knife. The guy that designed this, Michael Yanich, is a pretty much expert on close quarters combat, and he teamed up with Spyderco to create pretty much the ultimate combat folder, and that's what we have here. This knife can be had for anywhere from $110 to $130, so basically the same price point as the Paramilitary 2. I paid $128 for it from a local dealer. I like to support local companies, and I wanted it that day, so I went ahead and did that. But this knife also has the compression lock here on the back of the frame, as well as the serrations there on the back of the frame. And now this knife doesn't have any serrations on the blade. They kept it nice and slim, none on the front there. But guys, even those little bit of serrations there, you really get a good grip on this knife. Now, I haven't stabbed anything with it yet to try it out, but the way that kind of comes to that nice smooth edge there, that little point, so far, guys, it's really, really comfortable, so I really like it. This knife kind of has a fatter head here, and makes for just a really comfortable design. Now, they kind of kept the theme of that little point there on the grip here, as you can see. And these are also G10 handles with completely ambidextrous as well as reversible and ambidextrous pocket clip. The blade, starting at the bottom of this blade, it is pretty thick, which is very awesome. But when you get to that tip, this is what a lot of guys are concerned about this knife, is the tip of this knife. It is seriously about, as wide as a needle. But guys, this knife wasn't meant to go out in the woods and start chomping on stuff. And, this is pretty much a combat knife. It's basically a razor blade with a decent thick edge on the top. And this blade design is called a Wharncliffe design. So go check it out. They also have a fixed blade version of this knife called the Ronin 2, which is a really awesome knife. I think it could be had for around $90 to $100, so that's something I may check out because I really love this knife. But yeah, guys, like I said, compression lock, so easy deployment. You can put it away nice and easy. Very, very awesome knife, though. Like I said, it's probably my favorite knife right now out of my Spydercos. Very excited about it. Now, Christmas is a few weeks away, and I'm thinking about getting me another Spyderco. I've always wanted a Paramilitary 2 with the black blade and digi camo handles, so I might go ahead and get that. But there's just so many good choices out there when it comes to Spyderco that I'm not sure. So I'm going to have to do some more looking, some more digging, and try to figure that out. But yeah, these are my 3 Spydercos. Sorry guys, I am no knife reviewer by any means. I'm kind of just getting into the quality knife stuff. Kind of wanted to share my thoughts and opinions on these knives as far as EDC uses and kind of what they're good for their price points. And I could highly recommend all 3. I do say the YoJimbo 2 is my favorite, but honestly guys, the Paramilitary 2 is a hard knife to beat. So only time will tell. I mean, they both have their really cool features. Like, I really dig those front serrations as well as the rear. You just can't beat the Paramilitary 2, but at the same time, the YoJimbo 2 is just, it pretty much just screams badass. So yeah, it's hard to decide, but I think I'm kind of digging this so much because it's my newest knife. I'm just getting familiar with it, and to be honest, I kind of drooled over pictures of this knife for the last 6 months on Instagram before I finally broke down and bought one. So, very awesome knives, guys. If you don't own a Spyderco, please go check them out. You will not be disappointed. For a long time, guys, I never understood how someone could go spend $100, $200 on a pocket knife. I mean, I had some case knives, some okay Kershaw knives, but that was it for me. I wasn't going to go spend $100, $200 on a knife. But just like anything else, guys, you can buy quality, or you can buy mediocre stuff, or you can buy junk. It's the same reason I choose not to carry a High Point or a Burst of Thunder or something, I just don't, you get what you pay for at the end of the day. And I've wasted a lot of money trying to go cheap and buy junk, and at the end of the day, it just doesn't pay off. So the way I look at it is, heck, my kids will probably get these knives one day, let alone some cheap $10, $20 knife that I carry and end up snapping the blade and it gets thrown in a tote or something. These knives, even if I put them through hard use, will be around someday. So, quality is everything, guys. No matter what you're buying, whether it's a car, a knife, a firearm, you name it. You choose what you need to spend money on and kind of what you could budget on, I guess. But awesome knives, guys. I really appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Also, go check me out on Instagram at GlockGuy226, and thanks for watching.